Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and today we are going to be talking about the first video of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers draft prospects video. So, the way I see it, the Buccaneers have probably 7 options in terms of what they can do at the 7th overall pick. So, let's talk about the teams that are picking before them. You have the Cleveland Browns with number 1. You have the I can't remember what team is. Oh, the New York Giants have number 2. The Indianapolis Colts have number 3. The Cleveland Browns have number 4. The Denver Broncos have number 5, and the New York Jets have number 6. And then you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 7. Now, the way I see it, that there's 4 players that the Bucs could realistically get, not realistically get, but it would make sense. There's 4 players that the Bucs are hoping to get at pick number 7. I'm going to be going through a lot of this. This is going to be a longer video, I guess you could say. So let's talk about the 4 players. You have my favorite player, Quenton Nelson. Dude's literally a beast of a guard. Dude's a monster, okay? Like, dude's literally a monster. He's probably what you would call the second most realistic option for the Bucs to fall to pick number 7. Love Quenton Nelson. I literally can't say enough things about Quenton Nelson. A lot of people compare him to like a Logan Mankins, and I think that is about as accurate as you can be. I totally agree with that, and I would love him, and I think we need him very badly. Next, you have Minkah Fitzpatrick, who, again, he is probably the most likeliest person to fall to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, pick number 7. Very versatile back, defensive back, I guess I should say. Very versatile. Can cover well, can play cornerback, can play safety. He's very good. He's very good. He's probably the best defensive back in this class. I guess 8 options, because there is going to be an option I'll be talking about in a little bit. Well, no, never mind. So then you have Saquon Barkley, who's literally a stud. Dude blew up the combine. There was something I saw where it was like faster than Deshaun Jackson. Jumps higher than Julio Jones, stronger than Joe Thomas. You know, it's Saquon Barkley, and he's definitely just, guys, he's not going to be at our pick. So that'll lead into a later option. So we've got 3 options. You have Quenton Nelson, you have Minkah Fitzpatrick, you have Saquon Barkley, and then I was gonna Minkah Fitzpatrick, Saquon Barkley. Oh my gosh, there was somebody else. Am I drawing a blank here? I thought we had all the options. I had all the options, I promise. I can't remember now. Oh my gosh, it's like 3 in the morning. How could I not remember what our 4th option was? It was Quenton Nelson, it was Minkah Fitzpatrick, it was Saquon Barkley, and it was Bradley Chubb, right? Okay, Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb is our 4th option. The insanely good pass rusher, the best pass rusher in the draft, honestly. However, with the way things are looking, he's probably going to go number 3 to the Colts, which is unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. Dude's a stud. So really, if you think, the way I see it with those 4 players specifically, Nelson probably won't fall to us. Fitzpatrick's the most likeliest person to fall to us. Saquon is definitely not falling to us, nor is Bradley Chubb. So that's just how I feel about all 4 of them, but all 4 of them I feel are definitely worthy of top 5 picks. But let's take a quick look into the 6 teams, or the 5 teams that picked before us, okay? So at number 1, you have the Cleveland Browns. Now, it has been reported that the Cleveland Browns could potentially take Saquon Barkley at pick number 1. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Depending on free agency is going to be huge in terms of what's going to happen in this draft. Let's say, realistically speaking, the Browns go out and you get A.J. McCarron at quarterback. The Browns might feel that A.J. McCarron is that franchise guy, and you can build around A.J. McCarron. I don't necessarily think that's true, but that might be what the Browns think. After all, the owner did want to trade for A.J. McCarron near the end of the deadline. However, things didn't go through, and that former staff was fired from it. But we don't really know what this current staff thinks about an AJ McCarron. We don't know. Maybe they'll throw a ton of money at Kirk Cousins, but that's probably not going to happen. Honestly, the best case scenario for the Buccaneers. See, Kirk Cousins is huge for this because the Jets are going to try and get Kirk Cousins. The Broncos are going to try and get Kirk Cousins. The Browns, I believe, are going to try and get Kirk Cousins. And the Vikings are also going to be trying to get Kirk Cousins. And the best case scenario for us as Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans is that Kirk Cousins goes to the Minnesota Vikings. That way, teams before us that picked before us, like the Denver Broncos, like the New York Jets, and like the Cleveland Browns, all pick quarterbacks. You know, your Josh Allens, your Baker Mayfield, your Sam Darnells, your Josh Rosens. Those 4 quarterbacks, and your Lamar Jacksons. You know, there's a lot of quarterbacks that could be taken. So realistically speaking here, if Kirk Cousins goes to Minnesota and Sam Bradford goes somewhere and Teddy Bridgewater goes somewhere and Case Keenum goes somewhere, there's a realistic chance that one of these guys could drop, or it's a realistic chance that one of these guys could drop to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That all depends on Kirk Cousins needs to go to Minnesota basically, for a likelier chance for one of these guys to drop to us, because all these teams are still going to need a quarterback, and they will pick them up in the draft more than likely, or they'll take stopgap options like your Sam Bradford, your Case Keenums, your Teddy Bridgewaters, stuff like that. Teddy Bridgewater is a really interesting one. That one will be interesting to see. Personally, I see him going to maybe Arizona or something, but that's enough about that. So where these teams, so you have the Cleveland Browns, who might take a quarterback. If we're going to assume that Kirk Cousins goes to Minnesota, okay? Cleveland Browns are probably going to take a quarterback or Saquon Barkley with pick number 1. That's just going to be how it is. Let's say they take a quarterback with pick number 1. Number 2, the New York Giants. That's probably where Saquon Barkley is going to go, honestly. Pick number 3, you have the Indianapolis Colts. That's probably where Bradley Chubb's going to go. Pick number 4, you have Cleveland again. Now that one's pretty rough. They're not going to take. I don't expect them to take what am I trying to say here? I don't expect them to take a Quenton Nelson because their offensive line is fine. They could take Minkah Fitzpatrick, or they could trade down, and I could see the Buccaneers possibly trading up and drafting Quenton Nelson here. That's their 5th option, which is trading up. You could trade up with the Indianapolis Colts, you could trade up with the New York Giants or the Cleveland Browns. You skip ahead a couple of picks, you know, depending on what they give up, who's to say. But if you can get a game changer like a Quenton Nelson or a Saquon Barkley, or a Bradley Chubb, I think you do it. You know, those 3 guys are 3 players that I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucs traded up for them. Wouldn't be surprised. I don't expect the Buccaneers to trade up, but if they were to, I would expect it to be for one of those 3 players. So after Cleveland's pick at number 4, you have the Denver Broncos at pick number 5. They're probably going to take a quarterback. And at pick number 6, you have the New York Jets, who again are probably going to take a quarterback, especially if Josh McCown decides to like retire or hit free agency or whatever. That'll be interesting. So you have Bucs pick at number 7. Now another option that they have is trading down. There's a couple of teams here that you could trade down with. The Buffalo Bills being one, maybe the Arizona Cardinals, or maybe just some other team. You know, Miami Dolphins, I believe, wanted to trade up in the draft, you know, pick 11, something like that. So let's assume that the Bucs do trade down. Well, who will they get? Well, you have a couple of options. You have Vita V, I believe his name is, the defensive tackle, who is insanely fast, and he's very impressive in my opinion. You have him. You have Derwin James, who a lot of people, there's speculation now that he might end up being better than Minkah Fitzpatrick, which would be interesting. You have Marcus Davenport, which a lot of people are saying, well, he's not a top 10 pick. Well, if we trade out of the top 10, then it wouldn't be a problem. So really, those are kind of our trade down pick options. So that's option number 6. right? 6. You have trading up, trading down. Yeah, trading up, trading down. Quenton Nelson, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Saquon Barkley, and oh my gosh, why do I keep on forgetting? Saquon Barkley, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Oh, Bradley Chubb. Okay, Bradley Chubb. I keep on forgetting about Bradley Chubb. And yeah, so those are kind of your 6 options. It'll be really interesting to see what the Bucs do. Because, you know, like, it's honestly, if we can't get any of those 4 players, which quite frankly, the only one I really suspect us to get at all would be, what am I trying to say here? Would be Minkah Fitzpatrick. We could trade down, maybe get Derwin James. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I don't think many other people would be either. But we're going to go ahead and read some of your takes here that you guys did send in. So first one we're going to listen to right here. So let's go ahead and see if we can listen to it.
I believe with the 7th pick, we should draft Bradley Chubb, but I doubt Bradley Chubb will be there because Colts are going to take him. So our next option will be Quenton Nelson. We could draft a pass rusher, but there'll be some available in the 2nd round, like Arden Key or Marcus Davenport. And in the 3rd round, we should draft Rashad Penny. I think he's a sleeper of the draft.
Okay, so what a man Flexi was saying there was, you know, he wants Bradley Chubb at pick number 7. That's probably not going to happen. Quenton Nelson, again, probably won't happen. I like the idea of Rashad Penny in the 3rd round. I think we should address running back later on anyway. Another guy's Geis, I think his name is a running back. A lot of people are hyped about him. Maybe that's an option. I honestly don't believe that Davenport is going to be in the 2nd round. I just don't. But still, I mean, Arden Key he probably isn't going to make it into the 2nd round either, but it's still interesting. Addressing, obviously, it'll be really interesting to see what happens here. So thank you, Flexi. But Bucs Fan for Life says we should take Bradley Chubb or Saquon Barkley if they're there at our pick. If Saquon isn't in the 2nd round, we should go Nick Chubb. Well, keep in mind, that was sent February 4th. The take before that was sent February 2nd. That was a month ago, by the way. And February 5th. These were all sent. These past 3 takes were sent a month ago, so just keep that in mind. But again, Nick Chubb's another interesting option. I honestly, at this point, I don't believe he's going to last till the end of the into the 2nd round. I don't think he is. But if he does, cool. We'll probably get him. It's a really deep running back class, so some guys are going to fall to us, and I think we'll be fine. I think the Bucs will be fine in the mid rounds for a running back. Pass rush is going to be huge, and our lines are huge. Our lines are going to be huge. Like, how we draft for our lines in this draft is going to be very important to the success of this team, in my opinion. So thank you, Bucs Fan for Life. And Rhett Berryman35 says Bradley Chubb. I feel like Barkley could slide to 7. I love Marcus Davenport. I feel it's a reach at 7, but maybe around 14, maybe trade for the pick. I've been hearing Derwin James, but I think he'll slide. Thoughts? Well, again, like I said, if we do trade back to maybe the teens, early teens, I guess I should say, I could see us taking a Derwin James or a Davenport, honestly. Trading down is probably going to end up being the Bucs' better options, especially, honestly, if we can't get Quenton Nelson or Minkah Fitzpatrick, then trade down. That's really how I feel that it should work right now, unless somebody really impresses me, unless Derwin James really proves that he belongs in the top 10 discussion. Then I say Derwin James, possibly. But obviously I'll be making more videos as draft season goes on. But the final one here, Kenyon Williams. This one's long, so it's fun. But I told you guys this was going to be a long video. We're at 14 minutes right now, man. So Marcus Davenport isn't quite at the level of Bradley Chubb, but I feel the 3 top players in this position. But as I feel, the 3 top players in positions of need will be taken. Bradley Chubb is my first choice if he drops to us. He's a pro-ready defensive end, where we were last in the league. Saquon Barkley is my second, though how in the heck he drops to 7th makes no sense. I'd like to see him ease James's workload. Okay. Quenton Nelson is a tank. We won't have to worry about guard for 11 to 15 years with my guy. Our O-line is not great, so this can make it mean and help any running back we get in this deep class. The other real prospects ahead of these three are quarterbacks, which we don't need. So since Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson are in a mix to get drafted, along with the fact the teams ahead of us need quarterbacks, gives me small hope that the top three I want for the Bucs may fall. In the event that the top three leave the board, I'd say Marcus Davenport of UTSA. He's running a 4.5 40-yard, quick and powerful, 6'5", 3/4 inches, can set the edge well. He's been compared to Ezekiel Ansah, a defensive end for the Lions, albeit a 3-4 end. Davenport is better at 4-3 and our system, so that's why I'd take him. I believe we should trade down only if the top three are off the board again. So again, I think Kenyon here was echoing a lot of the things I said. A lot of people are saying Marcus Davenport isn't a top 10 pick. There's still, the jury's still out on whether or not Derwin James is a top 10 pick. Personally, man, for me, I would be willing to trade up for Quenton Nelson or I'd honestly, my top 4 prospects, I'd be willing to trade up for any 4 of them. Depending on what you give up is a very interesting discussion. That's a discussion in of itself. But I would trade up for all 4 of them. I'm hoping that at least Quenton Nelson or Minkah Fitzpatrick fall to us. If they don't, then you trade down, I guess, in my opinion. You go to the early teens, probably, if you can. You don't want to go to the 20s, in my opinion, because you would be missing out on your second tier list of prospects as well, you know. Because if you're in the 20s, Marcus Davenport's probably going to be gone. Derwin James is probably going to be gone. And you're going to be left with maybe an Arden Key or a Nick Chubb, which honestly Nick Chubb probably wouldn't be that bad. If you have back-to-back for, let's say you trade with the Buffalo Bills, right? You have pick 21 and 22. That's not terrible. I think you can still get a very decent running back, and you can also get a very decent edge rusher. And then there you go. That's 2 of your biggest needs solved there. And if you truly believe in your offensive line, like Dirk Cutter has said, then okay, we roll with that, you know. But honestly, I'm hoping that Quenton Nelson or Minkah Fitzpatrick can drop. I'm really hoping that Kirk Cousins goes to the Vikings, because that's going to be really big on how the rest of this plays out. And it'll be really interesting to see these teams ahead of us take I hope the teams ahead of us take quarterback just out of pure need. I really hope the Browns don't decide, well, Deshaun Kaiser, he's a fit, you know, we can roll with Deshaun Kaiser. And I hope like Lamar Jackson gets picked, or Josh Allen gets picked, or Baker Mayfield gets picked. You know, I hope these quarterbacks go off the board. I'm really hoping, that's what we're hoping for as Bucs fans, is for the teams before us to get quarterbacks so that these really important role/skill players can drop to us, because quite frankly, that's what we need. Now, granted, this is being filmed a few days before free agency. Free agency is going to happen in about 8 to 9 days. It's going to start in 9 days, but the legal tampering period is in 7 days, I believe. So 1 week from today. So that's going to be a really interesting time as well, and I'm sure obviously I'll be updating you guys on all of it and whatnot. But let me know what you guys think about all the Bucs drafting situations down in the comment section below. If I had to give you right now the likeliest option for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like what I think is going to happen, I think it's either going to be 3 things. I think they're either going to draft Derwin James, they're either going to draft Minkah Fitzpatrick, or they're going to trade down and draft like a Marcus Davenport. That's what I think is going to happen. Or they just decide to draft Marcus Davenport at 7. That's what I think is going to happen. As of right now. Now, obviously, they can meet with players. Pro days haven't happened yet. There's still a lot of stuff to happen in draft season. But I'll be doing some live streams about it with my scout Logan. We'll be talking more about this as more things happen, more meetings happen, more the Bucs show more interest in certain types of players, what's a smoke screen, what's not a smoke screen. We're going to be discussing all of it with you guys. This is a very long video, but I do hope you all enjoyed it. And let me know what you think about the current Bucs drafting situation down in the comment section below. Again, I've labeled 6 options for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's Quenton Nelson, Bradley Chubb, Saquon Barkley, Minkah Fitzpatrick. You trade down and get a guy like Derwin James or Marcus Davenport. You trade up and assure that you get one of those 4. You know, this is, and yeah, that's just pretty much how it is, man. But it'll be really interesting to see. I'd love to talk with you guys about this down in the comment section below. And again, I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, I will see you in the next video. But until then, goodbye for now, guys. See ya.